Welcome back to Talking Points with Nolan Dalla. I'm Nolan Dalla. This is Talking Points number 6. Now tonight we're going to talk about a very controversial article that was written by a travel writer named Carolyn Morse. Excuse me. Her name is Carolyn Morse. And she wrote this travel column, and she ranked the 10 most disappointing travel tourist destinations in the world. The 10 most disappointing tourist and travel destinations in the entire world. Now I'm thinking about the places I've been, the places I've gone, and I would like you to I'd like to test you. Think about the 1 or 2, 3, 4, however many you can think of, the most disappointing tourist destinations that you've ever visited. Well, I'll bet that we probably have some shared opinion on this. Probably some differences. It depends on maybe what your mindset was. Maybe we had different experiences. I mean, everyone has a different perspective, experience, time of year, went to different restaurants, had different encounters with service and personnel. There's all kinds of things that can influence somebody's perception of how a vacation went. And I understand that. However, this writer came up with some things that are just absolutely blew me away. And I'm going to read to you her list of the most disappointing tourist destinations in the world. Travel destinations. By the way, before I begin, I have to first of all mention today's wine. We always do something here that's special. This is a real simple wine. It's Riesling from the Columbia Valley. And I was never a big Riesling fan. A quick sidebar, I was never a fan of Riesling wines, sweet white wines, which are kind of a German-style Rhine Valley type wine. I'm really not a fan of those. They have low alcohol content, 11-12%, if that. They're very sweet, somewhat acidic at times. I'm not a fan of Riesling. However, Marietta and I took a wine class about 2 years ago, and it was only on Rieslings. And I've always been very much of a snob towards Zinfandels, Cabernets, certainly Rhone Valley wines from France are my favorites. And anyway, we took this wine course on Rieslings. And I must say that I sampled all these great Rieslings from around the world, including Washington State and Oregon, Northern California, and certainly Germany. And it was kind of life-changing in a way, because I realized that pairing a nice Riesling when it's nice and warm outside is just a really nice, crisp, thirst-quenching experience. So anyway, cheers to you joining me again on Talking Points number 6. That's quite good. So now let's talk about this article again, where this writer, Carolyn Morse, ranks, and I'm not gonna give away. I'm not going to give any publicity, none whatsoever. I'm not going to mention the website where this is published. You have to do it on your own and find it. But just trust me, here it is. The 10 most disappointing tourist destinations in the world. Gibraltar. I can go with that. All right, Gibraltar. But who goes to Gibraltar for tourism? Does anybody go there? I mean, Gibraltar is this tiny little part on the south of Spain, where essentially the rock goes over to, Algeria or Morocco. Anyway, it's across the straits there. And I don't know anybody that says, let's go to Gibraltar for vacation. Nobody does that. So anyway, she bashes Gibraltar. Okay, that's fine. Niagara Falls, New York. She doesn't like Niagara Falls. Now listen, I know the Canadian side of the Niagara Falls is much nicer than Niagara Falls, New York, the New York side of the U.S. side, but she bashes that. Of all the places on Earth, she's going to bash Niagara Falls? I mean, seriously? I mean, that's ridiculous. By the way, I have a bad back, and I'm about to bust it right here on this. I'm going to get excited. She goes after Niagara Falls, one of the great wonders of all of North America, and that she doesn't like Niagara Falls. It gets worse, believe me. Wait till I get to my last one. She doesn't like Ireland, Dublin in particular. See, I'm getting out of breath. All right, she doesn't like Ireland. She doesn't like Dublin. I've never been to Ireland. I've heard great things from people who have been there. I've heard just terrific things. It's a great place to visit, a lot of fun. Certainly a city that, where you could meet a lot of friends. She doesn't like Dublin. All right, fine. Hollywood, California, I could get that. I've been to Hollywood. You know, that's not the best section of L.A. I'm not a big fan of L.A. anyway, but Hollywood in particular is, you know, maybe in the 1920s it was pretty special, but now all the movies are in Burbank and Studio City and Century City and Culver City and places around. It's not really in Hollywood, so Hollywood is really a false moniker of the film industry. I don't think anything really is. I guess some of the studios are pretty close to there, but it's not really where the movie industry is based anymore. Nassau, the Bahamas. I'm not a fan of the Atlantis Resort, the most overrated hotel casino tourist destination in the entire world, bar none. The Atlantis. Can't stand it, and I bashed it on Travel Advisor, and I just can't stand that place. Nassau, Bahamas. However, I wouldn't bash the whole country. I think the Bahamas is a pretty nice, clean, fun place. I mean, you can't bash the whole country, can you? Anyway, Liberty Island. She doesn't like... Seriously? She doesn't like the Statue of Liberty? Of all the places on Earth, of all the horrible places to go, she doesn't like the Statue of Liberty? Really? That's the worst place that she could go? I mean, wait a minute. What am I missing here? I mean, this is a symbol of this country. If you're a great-grandchild or a grandchildren or a child of an immigrant, that statue means something to you. It should mean something to you. I mean, that thing was built 130 years ago, and she's bashing the Statue of Liberty? What next? Well, I'll tell you what else she's got. She just goes down the road here. She bashes Frankfurt, Germany. Now, I don't understand, of all the big cities that she could pick in Europe, Milan, Amsterdam, Warsaw, Prague, Berlin, Hamburg, you know, I mean, Madrid, all the places that she could pick in Europe, which are kind of, I don't want to say all the same, but they're all big business centers full of people, and she bashes Frankfurt as being the worst. Well, first of all, who goes to Frankfurt on vacation? Have you ever heard of anybody that goes to Frankfurt, Germany on vacation? Ever? You go to Frankfurt because it's a banking center, you know, a business center. If you have something to do with there's a Kaiserslautern, the Air Force bases there. If you're an American, that's probably why you know Frankfurt. But who bashes Frankfurt? Of all the places on the earth, Frankfurt. This woman is insane. Walt Disney World, Florida. This is another place she doesn't like. I'm not a big fan of Disney World. I don't like really what it stands for. I think it's overrated. I think it's overpriced. But I don't really think it's one of the worst places you could go. I think most people probably should go there once, especially if you have kids. I don't know of any kid that doesn't like Disney World. Casablanca, Morocco. I've never been there, but everybody I've ever talked to that went to Morocco liked it. You know, I guess maybe she didn't like the food. Who knows? And then her last choice, as far as the worst travel destination to go to, Las Vegas, Nevada. Which now brings me to why I'm here, why we're having today's show, and why I'm about to go ballistic on this woman named Carolyn Morse. M-O-R-S-E. M-O-R-S-E. Listen to this. This is what she writes. Is there any place more depressing than the inside of a casino at 3 o'clock in the morning? Is there any place more distressing than a casino at 3 a.m. in the morning? Yeah, a train station, a bus station, an airport, a Denny's, this, a that, a whatever. I mean, go anywhere, a bar, go anywhere on earth at 3 a.m. and you're telling me that's not depressing. Really? A casino is the most depressing place you can go at 3 a.m.? I'll tell you what, I've been in casinos at 3 a.m. hundreds of times. Poker rooms, hundreds of times. I'm not ashamed to say that. Now, I'm not stuck into the slot machine. Usually I was playing poker, covering poker, with people, with friends, hanging out, like most people when they're in casinos do. And she's thinking, I'll tell you what, I'll just ask you guys a trivia question right now. Where would you rather be? Where would you rather be? A, Denny's, sitting at a Denny's lunch counter at 3 a.m., or inside a casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Time's up. I'm thinking most people are going to say the obvious. Is there any place more depressing than the inside of a casino at 3 a.m. in the morning? How did she get this assignment? And then she continues. Listen to this. Fluorescent lights. First of all, she talks about fluorescent lights. I don't know of any casino, if you go in there, where they have fluorescent lighting. Do you? Fluorescent lights? A thick haze of cigarette smoke. First of all, most casinos now are non-smoking, or they have non-smoking sections. Most restaurants are non-smoking now. And she's complaining about cigarette smoke. I guess she's never traveled to Europe, has she? The stink of desperation. She talks about the stink of desperation at casinos at 3 a.m. Don't really add up to a dream vacation. Whether you're losing your money by gambling it away, paying for obscene amounts of food at a buffet, or dropping it on overpriced show tickets, you're pretty much guaranteed to walk away from Las Vegas poorer than when you arrived. This is unbelievable. Seriously? This is really what she wrote. I mean, this is insane. This is absolutely insane. Whether you're paying for overpriced food at a buffet. Well, let's see. I've seen buffets range in price from $4 or $5. Those are the low end, up to $70, $80 for the big ones. You know, I know that's a lot of money for a buffet. $65, $70. That's a lot. Most buffets are $20, $25 or so. About what you'd pay for lunch anywhere else, or dinner anywhere else, if that. And then, gee, you get to choose about 250 items. She doesn't like buffets, I guess. Fine. You know, she must be just some waif that doesn't like to eat or doesn't like to enjoy life. She doesn't like to gamble. Boy, she's something else. Anyway, listen to this. Paying for obscene amounts of food, or dropping it on overpriced show tickets. Overpriced show tickets? Overpriced show tickets? The average show ticket in Las Vegas is about $80. Now, you can sometimes pay $120, $130, $150 for a Cirque du Soleil type show, or a top entertainer will be $130, $140. Yeah. And by the way, go to New York, go to London, go to Washington at the National Theater, go to any place in the country, and you just tell me what the tickets cost, what show tickets cost for an A-list type act. Go to those cities and tell me what they cost. If you can get tickets, if you can find tickets. Try to find U2 tickets anywhere in the world where they're playing, and see if you're going to pay less than a couple $100. Or Springsteen, or any, Beyonce, or whoever else you like to see. Here in Las Vegas, you can see any show on the Strip. Any show on the Strip, as long as you have advance notice and you know what dates you're going to be there, and you go online, you can find tickets for any show. And the average ticket's about $100, $120 or so. And I've seen a lot of good shows for $30, $35. I've seen some good $15 shows. They got things for every budget. And this idiot writer is talking about overpriced show tickets. And then she says, she has the audacity to say, you're pretty much guaranteed to walk away from Las Vegas poorer than when you arrived. Well, gee, let's see. If I go to Branson, Missouri next weekend, you think I'm going to walk away poorer or richer or break even than when I started? I'm going to guess I'm going to walk away poorer. How about Chicago? Poorer. Miami, poorer. San Francisco, much poorer. New York, much, much poorer. Paris, I'll be broke after a trip to Paris. Tokyo, you probably can't even get in the hotel reservation unless you've got, Gold American Express card. And she's worried about going broke in Las Vegas? Seriously? Has this woman ever been outside of wherever she's from? I mean, that's insane. That's absolutely insane. And my light keeps going out. Seriously, this is ridiculous. You're guaranteed to walk away poorer after a trip to Las Vegas. Has this woman ever, traveled before? Is she really a travel writer? Well, anyway, I had to share some things with you. I'm out of breath here. I had to share some things with you because what this writer, this idiot writer named Carolyn Morse, just doesn't understand is that Las Vegas, what makes this place, I think what makes it special and keeps it special, it's not the casinos, it's not the shows, it's not the Strip, it's not the bright lights, it's not the neon. All those things are pretty fun. I don't know if they're as exciting or maybe as great a value as they were 15, 20, 30 years ago. I mean, this is not 1961. You're not going to see Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin jump up on a stage and give you a free show. Lena Horne's not going to walk in and, sing for 45 minutes for free. That's not going to happen. Those days are over. That being said, Las Vegas has still got, it's certainly the entertainment capital of the world. More on any night of the week, there's more show options here probably than just about any place in the world. I think that's a fact. By the way, and so what I think really makes this space special is not, though, those things that I just mentioned. What makes Las Vegas special is, I think, a lot of the natural beauty that's around it. That within, say, 30 minutes to an hour drive, all the places you can go and see. How about Hoover Dam? Hoover Dam is 37 miles that direction. This is one of the engineering marvels, the most magnificent technological advancements in human history. If Hoover Dam wasn't built, Las Vegas doesn't exist. And a lot of this, their Southwest doesn't have power. We don't have water. I mean, you think about what a magnificent public works project this was. By the way, one of the best manifestations of socialism that I would say. I mean, this is a great example of why socialism, government-led, taking the first step actually works. I'd like to have a lot of Hoover Dams all over the United States. That's a perfect example of why government actually can do something very constructive and everyone can benefit from. Everyone forgets that. Anyway, Hoover Dam is 37 miles from here. You can take a tour. It still to this day provides power. It's still the reason we're here, because of Hoover Dam and Lake Mead right next to it. One of the largest man-made lakes, I think, in the entire North America. Right there with all the boating activities, and it's very beautiful. How about from here, if I just go right over my shoulder, it is this direction, that's Red Rock Canyon. And that's 8 miles from here. And you can hike, and you can bicycle, and you can go on these cliffs, and you can mountain climb, and it's pristine. There's not one light, there's not one home, there's not one restaurant, there's nothing out there, not even a power line. And you'll go out there to this pristine, perfectly preserved and protected land called Red Rock Canyon. And by the way, that's like right outside the city limits of Las Vegas. It's right there. And apparently Miss Morse, unfortunately, has never heard of Red Rock Canyon. Nor has she heard of a place called Valley of Fire. And that's about an hour that direction. And it's on the Paiute Indian Reservation. And you go to this place, and I'm just going to stop for a second because it's almost a spiritual place, because you go there and there are these very unique geological formations of red rocks. And they call it Valley of Fire because it looks like fire's coming out of the valley. It's this great, very colorful, robust color of red. And you'll go in there, and I swear I've been there a number of times when I have family in town or friends, and we'll go there, and you won't hear a sound. It's completely still. Unless someone's talking, and you may hear them hundreds of yards away, you can hear their voice, because there's the sound waves, there's nothing that's resisting, there's nothing interfering, there's no planes, no cars, there's nothing around, and it's just beautiful. It's pristine natural beauty, and it's magnificent. And unfortunately, this travel writer named Miss Morris has obviously never been there either. The Grand Canyon, that's about 5 hours that direction. One of the most magnificent natural wonders of the entire world is a day's drive from here. If you come to Las Vegas, most people come to Las Vegas, they go to other places like that too. How about Dante's View, which is Death Valley? That's 2 hours this direction behind me, across the mountain. This is where you go up 8,000 feet in elevation and look down into Death Valley, which is below sea level. You're 8,000 feet standing there looking down into something that is below sea level. And you can look 75 to 100 miles this direction on a clear day, 75 miles with snow-capped mountains across the way. It's breathtaking. Just thinking about it brings tears to my eyes. It's fantastic. And again, you know, this is a guess. We don't count this. It doesn't get. If you come to Las Vegas, most people don't just stay on the Strip, Miss Morse. They will go to places like Valley of Fire, like Red Rock Canyon, like the Grand Canyon, like Dante's Peak, like Mount Charleston, where today it was 78 degrees here in Las Vegas. There's snow skiing. People are snow skiing 1 hour from here. 1 hour from here today, people were snow skiing. Now, Miss Morse, I'd like to challenge you to tell me any other city in the country. Well, maybe there is one, I don't know of it, but show me any other large city in the country where there are over 1 million people in the area where you can be at a swimming pool where it's almost 80 degrees, and then an hour drive away, you're snow skiing. And again, Las Vegas, it's called the Las Vegas ski resort, and it's right there at Mount Charleston. Lee Canyon right next to that as well. There's a beautiful canyon. I mean, there's so much to see and do in this area, and unfortunately, this writer just completely misses it. Just completely misses it. And all I just wanted to say was she's so wrong. I know I'm a homer. I lived here in Las Vegas for about 11, 12 years. I understand it's got some negative things, and I'll do a show about that sometime. I think one of the next shows I'll do, in fact, is Las Vegas still a great place to live? I think it was at one point. I think it was a great place to move to, and that's why it was the fastest growing city in America for like 10, 15 years, and still is right up there. And the question that we have to ask, is it still that way? And one of these days I'll go ahead and address that. But as of right now, when we ask ourselves, is Las Vegas still worth coming to? Is it still worth visiting? Is it still a place where people want to come? Well, 40 million people last year, more than any other year I think on record, said yes to that question. They came to Las Vegas. It's the most popular tourist destination, certainly in North America, in the United States. So this writer is just flat out wrong, flat out embarrassingly wrong, and as I am calling her out right now, she has no credibility. I'd like to see what else she's written. Who knows what else? But if she thinks that the Statue of Liberty, and Niagara Falls, and places like this are the most disappointing travel destinations in the world, Frankfurt, Germany, also, and then Las Vegas, boy, I'd like to see what her best 10 are. I'd sure like to see her best 10. Anyway, I'm Nolan Dalla. I've enjoyed being with you. Thank you for watching me this long. See you next time on Talking Points.